Hello, confident ladies. Happy Wednesday. How are you? I've got little Peanut here with me right now. I am going to open up the group and make sure this is streaming. How's everyone doing? So it's crazy how you guys know I pre-plan my content and I write my blog posts and everything usually about a month or two in advance. And this week's blog post was just perfect for what I'm going through. And it's crazy how sometimes, we write things that our future self really needs to hear. And baby girl's getting distracted here. So let me just make sure this is, it looks like it's streaming. So I'm gonna just get started because it's 9:31. So so this week has been a little bit of a strange week here. And yesterday our nanny's little girl was sick with the virus, so she wasn't able to be here, and I got a clogged milk duct, which is super painful, and the doctor actually was a little bit concerned that I could have mastitis, but I thankfully have not had a fever yet. So I've just been like sort of dizzy and out of it, and headache. Oh, Sue's here. Yay. And she's in Salt Lake City. How cool. What are you doing there, Sue? Great to see you, and so glad that you are still here even though you're away. You came and joined us this morning. So I've been in like a lot of pain. Hi, baby girl. So I got her on the boob right now because you have to, even when there's pain, you have to work through it and you have to keep the baby on there just to sort of break up the blockage. I know this is not like the most glamorous thing I'm talking about right now, but these are the realities, right, of being a mom and owning a business. Sue says doTERRA convention and lots of good training. Awesome. Oh, I can't wait to hear about that, Sue. That's awesome. So that's what's been going on here. So we didn't have anyone here yesterday, and I was in a lot of pain yesterday. Thankfully, my mom was able to come over for a little bit to let me get to the doctor. But it was one of, this week, I was so excited last week because this week I had all of this time planned where I was going to get a lot of stuff done and really dive in and work on some upcoming projects. And then, you know what? I had to just surrender again, right? This word just continues to come up for me all the time. And now it's been over a year, right? In the past, it's funny because I was having this conversation with a biz bestie and just saying how, I can't believe how much I've surrendered and how so far, I actually haven't fallen. And I may have talked about this last time on our Facebook Live, but it's crazy when you can really release and you can surrender to God, how He will always take care of you, right? If I would have even thought this time last year that, I would be able to work the little bit of amount that I work right now and still have a thriving business. Hi, Becca. Great to see you. Good morning. I would not think it would be possible if somebody would say to me, hey, you're only going to be able to work 10 hours a week, but you are still going to be able to have a business and create an income. I probably wouldn't have believed it, but God has just been showing me more and more every day just to lean on Him and just to trust that He's got it all under control. So this really ties in nicely with our topic this week, which is riding the waves of entrepreneurship. Any of you that are there, have you guys read this article yet? I'm just curious if you've read the blog post. I'm actually going to post it for you guys. Let's see. I will post it right in the live. Copy. So you guys can. Oh, Natalie's here. Hi, Natalie. Great to see you. She said yes, so you read it. Awesome. And Natalie, you brought up, I saw your comment on one of the other posts about, let me just open it up real quick here. the difference between fear and excitement, and I'm going to just go over that for you guys real quick now. So one thing that I really learned, this was probably back when I was in grad school, is there were many times where, like, throughout my journey of getting my master's and applying for internships and interning, I felt like every step of the way there was something else big and scary that was happening. And I felt like I was scared all the time. Like, I lived my life full of fear constantly. And I can't remember exactly what happened, but one day I just sort of realized, you know what? The way that I feel when I'm scared is really the same way that I feel when I'm excited, because I also had a lot of exciting things happening. And I think that oftentimes we get them mixed up, right? Or at least we think that things are a lot scarier than they really are. Because I don't think that we think that we're excited, but we're really scared. But I think it's the other way around quite often. So we think that we're really scared. We have all of those same feelings, right? Like racing thoughts, feeling jittery, feeling at the edge of your seat, having butterflies in your stomach. But thinking back, when you're excited, you have those same feelings. And if any of you guys like roller coasters, I like some of them, but not a ton of them. But you know those feelings. It's like, if you do love them, you're excited, right? And there's like that thrill. And it could almost come off as like a fear based sensation, but it's really not. The only difference is the breath. That's what Becca said. Oh, that's so cool. Yes, that is so true, Becca. That's very true with the breath, because when you're fearful, you sort of hold your breath more, right? And when you're excited, you are able to breathe a little bit better. I love that. I really love that. Yes, we do hold our breath in fear. Exactly. Yeah, so I love that, how the only difference is the breath. Yeah, so I guess if you can ask yourself, like, am I holding my breath? And I guess sometimes when we're excited, maybe we do that still, right? Because we think that we're scared. So let me think back to like when I launched one of my first group programs ever. This was like spring of 2016. I thought I was really scared, right? Because I had all those feelings. And actually, I will tell you guys, the first time that I had my first group coaching call, I thought I was scared. And maybe I was a little bit, but really what it came down to was I was just excited. I couldn't wait to get these women together and start a conversation and get a group call running. So please just ask yourself that question. Is it fear? Is it excitement? And I'm sure most of the time it's going to be more excitement. And when you can just ask yourself that and realize it's more excitement, then things just get a lot easier. So the next point in this blog post is welcoming the waves, right? So when we resist the waves, what happens when you were a little kid at the beach? And maybe for some grown-ups this happens too. But I personally remember I'd really want to ride the waves. I'd want to get into the water, but I would be so afraid of it, right? I'd be so afraid of them crashing on me or me going underwater. What I would do is I'd go in a little bit and I'd resist the waves, and then because I wouldn't jump in all the way, I would get pulled back, right? I would get swept under the waves, and I'm like, why does this keep happening to me? Why is it happening over and over again? Like, why can't I just ride the waves like everyone else? And it's because I was resisting it because of the fear, right? And I think we so often do that in our businesses and in our lives. If we would only just welcome the fear and dive in a little bit deeper and dive in a little bit further, it would make it so much easier. And you know what happens when you continue to ride the waves, right? You get pulled out into the middle of the water, which in real life is not a good thing. But that's what happens in our life and business also. When you keep going with the scary, and doing it over and over again, before you know it, you're going to be so far ahead, and you're going to stop and ask yourself, like, how did I even get here? And I've been using that little tool since I started my business. Like, when I'm afraid of something, I just dive in. okay? I don't let fear paralyze me. Because the longer that we sit around and we sit in the fear, the scarier it gets. The more that something snowballs and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm going back to grad school a lot today, but one of the things that I learned in grad school was because I can remember having like a lot of difficult conversations with like friends and supervisors and things, and when those conversations I knew I had to have a conversation and I was feeling really nervous about it. What I would know is, actually one of them was always like asking for time off. That always got me scared in grad school. Like they're gonna think that I don't like my internship, all these limiting beliefs that go through my mind. But I'd always be worried to ask for time off. And what I realized was the longer that I would put this off, right? Because I'd be scared, so I wouldn't do it, and I'd think about it all the time. It would take up all this brain space. Then when I actually went to do it, let's say it was a couple weeks later, I was like scared out of my mind, and it turned into something even bigger than it was before. So when something does scare you, do it right away, because as soon as you do it, it's going to free up space in your mind. And I mean, either way, you're probably going to have the same outcome. So whether you do it in 2 weeks or you do it today, it's probably going to be the same outcome. And what would you rather do? Spend 2 weeks worrying about it? Like, that's a lot of space. That's a lot of time. Or would you rather just get it over with? So now, if I need to have a difficult conversation with someone, I do it right away. And sometimes I can actually get a little bit impatient because I know how good I feel once it's over with. So like, I'll want to do it right then. I'm like, I'm ready for this. I want to have it now. So that's what I mean by welcoming the waves. And like I mentioned before, being a mom, like there are so many different things that have come up for me. Things that are just completely out of my control that I can't do anything about. And I just have to welcome it, and I just have to keep riding them and knowing that, you know, if I resist, it's only going to get harder. So I have to welcome them. Oh, hi, Safia. So good to see you. You are so sweet. You look fresh-faced and beautiful. Thank you. I don't feel so sweet today, but I definitely feel better today than I did yesterday. We're having some feeding issues here, but I went to the doctor and I'm feeling a little bit better now. I have some clogged milk ducts right now, so I'm sure you probably have been through that. Most moms who breastfeed probably have, but it's my first time with it happening, so it's been a little tough. But I'm here. I was so excited to see you guys. It is cold here today. I can't believe it. I have like a candle on in the background, and it's just a rainy day. Ouchie, yeah, it's a little bit painful, definitely, but you know what, you gotta just work through the pain. And great example is, you know, if I were to resist and say like, no baby, you're not feeding because I'm in pain, it would only make it worse. The only way to make it better is to fight through the pain and let the baby continue to feed and continue to feed, and that's how you actually heal it. So funny how we can find all of these little examples in life, right? So the next one here is celebrating all the big and the little wins. So we have wins every single day of our life, right? And some days they're going to be really big, and then other days they're going to be small. But if you're only looking for those big wins and you're only celebrating those big wins, you will always be disappointed, because there's no way to achieve huge wins every single day. So someday a win for you will be, let's just say, popping on Facebook Live and doing a Facebook Live in your group. And for some people, they're like, oh, that's no big deal. But for others, let's say you have, oh man, Safia, that sounds painful. Let's just say someone in here has some type of sickness or something, and you know, it's really hard. They have no energy, and it's really hard for them to get on live. Well, for them, that's huge that they did a Facebook Live. So you've got to celebrate all those little things. And, you know, oftentimes in entrepreneurship, people think, like, I only hear people celebrating, like, when they've gotten a sale. Well, what about the times that you didn't get a sale, right? Those can be celebrated too, because they're one step closer to getting a sale. right? They're one step closer to connecting with your ideal clients. So even a day where you've hopped on the phone with a few different people to just get to know them and talk about your business, like those are wins. And you really have to stop and count all of those wins, and you have to celebrate them. Because there's some days where you're gonna wake up and you're gonna feel like, oh my goodness, I got nothing done today. Like literally nothing done. And what I want you to do is I want you to, every day, let's just say there is a day where you feel like thing after thing keeps happening and you don't have time, you aren't getting anything done. Yes, Natalie said progress over perfection. Exactly. I love, love, love that quote. So one of those days, what I want you to do is make sure that you do at least one thing that you can celebrate. And for some people, that might literally be getting up and getting in the shower, because that's all that you can do that day. Or maybe it's putting like one Facebook post out there or one social media post. But at least do one thing that will make you feel better. Okay, so there's been days where things have been really tough with baby, and I've literally stopped at like 4 o'clock and looked around the house and said, oh my God, I've gotten nothing done today. I literally feel like I've done nothing. But I'll remind myself, no, I did do something, okay? First of all, I've been taking care of a baby all day. And second of all, I'll say, you know what, at least I did a post, right? I put a post on Instagram, or I put a post in my Facebook group. So you have to celebrate all of those little things and not just focus on the sales or, the bigger, different achievements that you're making. So focus on all of them. And then this one, the last one here, is welcoming the lulls. Like this one's not always fun, but I want to remind you, in entrepreneurship, things are going to be up and down, and that's where I call them riding the waves, right? There's going to be weeks or days or even moments, right? There's going to be days where maybe you wake up and all of these things are great and exciting and you're so just looking forward to the day, and then the next moment something happens and you're all down in the dumps, okay? And you just have to remember that's how it is. Like there may be, and I tell people this, like there could possibly be months, right? Like there could be 2 or 3 months where you're not making any money in your business. You're not getting any new clients. And that's okay, right? You can't put pressure on yourself, and you can't resist and fight when something's not working. So what I say during that time is, if there are times where you aren't getting new clients or your business is not growing, take that time, welcome it as a time that you can really go inward and you can work on some other things in your business. So actually, I remember this back when I had my therapy practice. There would be like weeks at a time where my phone wouldn't ring at all. And I remember at one time just like panicking and being like, when is my phone ever gonna ring? When am I gonna get new clients again? Is it ever gonna ring again? What's going on? And then I can still remember, actually, I was sitting on my sun porch and I was feeling that one day, and I was like, rather than sitting here and being upset about this, I need to just stop it and I need to go do something. So I remember I made a list of all of these different places that I could call to connect with, to network with, and just like introduce myself to these other businesses. So I did all of that those days. And then actually I went onto my website and I like completely did all my copy, redid all my copy on my website. And Natalie says, great advice. I can see myself getting so disappointed in the downtime. Yeah, but just realize when you have that downtime, like there will be a time in your business that you will be wishing you had downtime. Like, oh my God, I wish I had like 2 weeks where no one was calling me, or I had 0 calls, where I could just focus and get X, Y, and Z done. So really just take it as a blessing, as hard as it is, because here's the thing, either way, if it's a quiet time, like it's gonna be a quiet time, right? And if you sit there and you worry about it and you stress yourself out, that time is going to be spent just doing that. And that's not good, that's a waste of time. So take that time, be really constructive, get as much done as you can, and then you'll see the business grow. Safia says, I love that you're opening up a dialogue about this. The universe will give you everything you want and need when you're ready to receive it. Yes, yes, yes. Amen. Yeah, and when you're resisting all the time and you're pushing against it, you're not going to get what it is that you want, or what it is that God or the universe thinks that you need. And that's the other thing, is that sometimes we think that we need something. We think that we want something. And we're pushing and pushing and pushing and trying so hard to get that. But maybe God, maybe the universe is telling you, no, you know what? That's not for you. So you need to just release and let go, because something else better is on the way. And if you keep pushing, you keep focusing on that, you're going to block yourself from that. And that happens all too often. So now personally, when things are not working out for me, like if I feel like there's a lull in my business, I just step back and I just release, because I know if I push, it's not going to work, right? Because I know that maybe this is opening me up to something else. So back when I had my therapy practice, I remember, and then Becca says, very true, it can get too busy. Yes. And then Safia says, boom. So when I had my therapy practice, this other piece of my business was born at a time where I felt like I was in a lull. I felt like I wasn't getting new clients. I was really questioning myself, questioning my abilities. And I sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a sales page together for private practice clinicians, and also just other mental health clinicians, to put a page together to offer coaching services so that I can help them build their practices, because I did such a good job building my practice and getting filled and being able to leave my day job within a few months. But what happened was, actually, this is what happened was, you continue to move your expectations up for yourself, and you have to realize that. So what I was praying and begging God for, please, I just want to be able to fill my practice so I can match my 9-to-5 salary, be able to quit my job, and then I'll be so happy, and then I'll have it all. And then what happened was, I did that. I left my 9-to-5, and then I realized that I was only seeing clients one day, and it was like 10, 12 hours a day. It was a crazy day, but that's all that I had my office space for. So during the rest of the week, I was like, all right, like I was sort of twiddling my thumbs and wondering, I was feeling almost like a failure. Like now I have I should be getting more clients. I should be seeing more clients. And I was sort of at that crossroads. So what I realized was, like, nothing had changed, right? It was just my mindset that had changed, because I had the same, it wasn't like I was losing clients. I had enough clients to, again, replace my 9-to-5 salary, but my expectations became higher for myself. Now I was like, all right, I've got all this time. I'm out of my 9-to-5. I should be getting an even higher salary. I should be booking even more clients. And again, like what I had then was something I had always dreamed about. So, hi Jennifer, great to see you. So glad you like this topic. Yeah, I think, can't wait to leave your 9-to-5. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it can be really, really tough. I remember those days where you feel like you are working 24/7. And all I want to say is just hang in there. You can make it happen. And it just takes time. It really does take time. But I do think that I really think it's easier, even though it's very hard, I think it's easier to build a business when you have a 9-to-5. Because you have an income coming in, you are able to invest in other things that maybe you wouldn't be able to invest in if you just go cold turkey and you quit your 9-to-5 and then start your business. And then when you do that, when you just quit your 9-to-5, and again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. So whatever works for you. But what I have seen happen with some of the women that I've worked with is that when they quit their 9-to-5 first and then start their business, there's more of like a scarcity and a pressure that they feel that they have to make money because they have to be able to pay the bills. And when you're running your business from a place of scarcity or a place of lack, it doesn't flow as easily, right? And it just makes it feel harder. It feels like you're pushing against the waves all the time. So I do think it's smart, at least that's just my opinion, if you do stay in your 9 to 5, even just to get your business off the ground a little bit, making some income. I definitely think it makes it much easier, even though it's hard, right? It's really, really hard when you are working 9 to 5 and then you are, going home and working maybe till all hours of the evening. Jennifer says, I totally agree with that. Having the income now is allowing me to get my business going, buy supplies and equipment one day at a time. Exactly. Yes, it's so exciting, Jennifer. And Natalie says yes as well. I'm just going to grab some water. So again, when you guys are experiencing those lulls in your business, and you could have a really established business, you could have a business for 10 years, it's been going great, but out of nowhere things are just quiet. Again, I want you to welcome those times, use them really constructively, and take a look at everything you have and say, is there something that I should change up a little bit? Is there something I should add to my business? Because again, your future self will thank you, because there will be times in the future where you're going to be so busy. And then also the other piece is, we as entrepreneurs make our income a little bit differently, right? When you're at a 9 to 5, you have a steady paycheck and you see the same amount come in every week or bi-weekly, and you're used to that. And then it can be really scary when you go from having something steady to not. You could have, let's say a 10K month one month, and then the next month you have a 0K month, right? Let's just say you make 0 in your business. But then the following month, you could have a 15K month or a 20K month. And you have to just remember that, again, it all makes up for it, right? So I remember, let's just say, this time last year when I found out that I was pregnant and I had terrible morning sickness, I really I couldn't do much at all last fall. So really for 3-4 months, I couldn't book any more clients. I just was so exhausted, so sick feeling. And it would have felt really, really scary if I didn't tell myself this, right? And luckily, the great thing is, the way that I had structured my business is I tend to do payment plans with my clients. I prefer to have some type of monthly projection, right? Because I think it can be even harder when you have your clients pay in full, because then one month, again, your income could be really high, and then the next month you might have nothing. And I think that can feel scary. So something as simple as taking payment plans, and most people do want to pay through payment plan, can actually sort of ease your mindset a little bit. And you're not going to be having as high number months, right? Because we always hear people out there talking about, I had a 30K month and a 20K month and this and that. And I think in most of those situations, what it is that they're being paid in full all the time. So, that's why. Let's just say they booked 4 clients for the next 6 months, and their package is $6,000. So they had a 24K month. But really, that's their income for the next 6 months. So personally, Safi says, I have to jump off. Such a great topic. I'll watch later and leave comments. I love you, Kate. You're amazing. Keep on mothering your baby and your business. Both very challenging, but also rewarding. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day, Safia. Hopefully I'll see you on our other call later on today at 3. I'll talk to you soon. But I think that when you have people pay in full, it can feel scary when you have those huge months, and then the next month you feel like, oh my gosh, I brought nothing in. So I think personally, this is how I do it. I think it's much easier to have just payment plans for people each month, because you can sort of project your income, but you are not going to have those super high months, right? like those people are talking about, because unless you're making like $1 million, like that's probably not going to happen with payment plans. So just another little tip for you guys. So any thoughts at all? Any comments? Any questions for me? What do you guys think about this topic? I really appreciate all of you being here this morning. Any thoughts? And if you guys are watching the replay, just leave some comments and I'll come back and answer them for you if you have any questions. That candle I have burning in the background is actually a Christmas candle. I'm like really getting into the fall now, and I already broke out a Christmas candle. It smells like Christmas tree. It smells so nice. But I guess, all right, I guess that's it. I don't think any of you guys have questions. So if anything comes up, make sure just pop them into the comment area and I will answer for you. Thank you guys so much for sharing this morning with me, and I will see you next Wednesday. Love you all. Take care.